The final match of Week 27 in League One takes us to the Bluegrass State for a matchup of a hungry expansion side and a veteran playoff-bound contender. From Toyota Stadium in Georgetown, Kentucky, it's Lexington Sporting Club and Charlotte Independence. It's USL League One soccer on ESPN+. I'm Donnie Barnes, and as we look at the current standings with just 5 games left for both these sides, Lexington have an uphill climb to make the playoffs in their first season. They've been much better in the second half of the campaign, but might have left themselves a little too much to do to get into that top 6. They'd probably need to win all of their remaining games starting tonight. Charlotte pretty comfortably ensconced in the top 6, but would still love to stay above Madison and Greenville for 4th to make sure of home field advantage in the first round. And they're capable of a run down the stretch. Earlier today, Lexington announcing that Sam Stockley, their inaugural head coach, is moving into a full-time sporting director role. He stressed, and the club stressed, that this was always planned. They want Sam Stockley to be able to focus his full-time attention on demands of that role, including finding the next head coach. So for the rest of this season, Nacho Novo named as the club's interim head coach. Novo is a legend in Glasgow, where he played 7 years with Rangers FC, and then he spent 3 years with Carolina Railhawks, who of course are now known as North Carolina FC in League One, where he played with Sam Stockley. He was hired as their assistant coach last year as they built out this new club, and as the under-23 head coach, and so he'll take charge for their last 5 matches this year. Meanwhile, keep an eye on Atez Diouf, Lexington's leading goal scorer tonight. He has 12 goals on the season, among the league leaders, including a couple against Fuego last week. He also scored against Charlotte in their last meeting on July 10th. He has scored or assisted in 40% of their tallies this year. And Sam Stockley told us that his growth has been tremendous, and there's still so much more to come from him. If Lexington are to start a miraculous late-season run, they'll probably need him to score tonight. Meanwhile, Tresor Mbuyu, the leading scorer for Charlotte, who have had a very balanced lineup this year, but Mbuyu has led the line with those 8 goals and 2 in his last 3. Their head coach Mike Jeffries praised his striker's growth this week, saying that Mbuyu's movement off the ball and his ability to set up teammates and his finishing have all come a long way in his second year with the team. He's already notched some huge late goals for them this season. Scored or assisted in 4 of their last 5 matches. We'll see if his growing confidence can help the Independents take another step towards cementing a playoff spot this evening. Both these teams have been much better at home than on the road this year. Lexington have only lost twice at Toyota Stadium. Will those trends continue in front of another boisterous Lexington crowd? Find out with your starting 11s and kickoff next.
Saving up for your goals should be effortless. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union invented Roundup. Roundup automatically puts money into your savings account by rounding up every purchase to the nearest dollar. So your morning brew? Savings. Dinner with friends? How about a side of savings? Mobile purchase? Mobile savings. In fact, last year our members saved $5.5 million just through Roundup. We'll even match your savings for the first 90 days. It's time to make your savings effortless with Roundup. Only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently. Commonwealth Credit Union is growing and hiring. If you have a passion to help others, come check us out. Our mission is to better lives in the communities we serve through financial products and services, leading-edge technology, and a commitment to treat every person with respect. If you'd like to join our team, visit our website to learn more about our extraordinary culture, pay, benefits, and the many more reasons we are voted a best place to work in Kentucky. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
After a nearly 2-hour weather delay, Lexington SC and Charlotte Independence finally just about ready to kick off on this Sunday night at Toyota Stadium. These two sides head-to-head for a 3rd time this year. They've split their previous 2 meetings. Back in early May, Lexington took a 1-0 victory in fairly dramatic fashion. A great goal put them ahead, and then a last-minute penalty. Corey Bennett was saved by Amal Knight to preserve the 1-0 Lexington win. But Charlotte gained a measure of revenge a couple months later with a 2-1 victory at their home. Both these sides have been so much better at home than they've been away this year. And so a rubber match today to determine the season outcome between these two as we look at the starting 11s for these sides tonight. First, the home side, Lexington SC, who make one change from the side that defeated or that drew with Central Valley Fuego last week. And so Tate Robertson playing on the left and Austin Causey in goal. Owen Green, a big piece on the right side for them. Charlotte Independence make one change from their 3-0 win against Chattanooga last weekend as Miguel Ibarra moves into the midfield and Bashir Ndiaye comes into the lineup. Will play on the right wing of that forward trio. So it is Charlotte in the white. Gabriel Oberton, who passed a late fitness check apparently. He did not train most of this week until yesterday, we were told. They weren't sure if he'd be fit to play today, but he is. And here we go. Can Lexington keep Toyota Stadium a fortress and keep their slim playoff hopes alive? Or will Charlotte take another big step towards home field advantage in the postseason? An early attack that broke down for Charlotte, and now the first foray forward for Lexington, who are in their black kits, those bright green numbers tonight. We had lightning in the area for nearly 2 hours, which is why we had that lengthy delay. Always an interesting mental test for both sides when you have to wait around for a while before finally kicking. Saw Joe Sergin, our center referee tonight. That's down the left side, and a chance to run onto this for Khalid Balogun. And looking to win a corner, he does, the first of the night inside the first minute. There is Mike Jeffries, the head coach of Charlotte Independence. They've won 3 of their last 5 matches with just 1 defeat in that span. But the away record, not so good. Just the 3 wins away from home in 14 road matches this season. Mike Jeffries said he wished he had a better answer for why the home form has been so much better than the away form this year. They have been very close to a couple other road wins, gave up some last-minute goals, had to settle for draws. But it's another reason why them securing home field in the first round at least would be a big step for them as they hope to contend for the postseason title. So the first corner of the match, played in low to the edge of the box and lined up with the right and pulled wide by Pierre Monet. Interesting corner kick routine. Monet unmarked at the top of the area. Charlotte caught out a little bit by that, although Monet far enough out, I don't think Charlotte would mind him shooting from there. Lexington, the poster children for being a different side home and away this year. A very young side in general, not just because they're in their first season of existence, but young in terms of age up and down most of their roster. They do have a few veteran players, but they deliberately went with a younger side in this their first season, and at times it's shown, but at other times they have flashed to life in spectacular fashion, and most of those times have come here at Toyota Stadium, where they've notched 6 of their 7 wins on the year, just 1 win on their travels. This is knocked forward and pinged forward by Bashir Ndiaye, and eventually into the arms of Amal Knight, who's been terrific between the sticks for Lexington this season. Joel Johnson with the interception there. He has been such a key figure for this Charlotte side this year. He's played all over the pitch, so incredibly versatile. He was their leading scorer for the first half of the season. They've had to move him back into the defense lately in the absence of Clay Dimmick, their captain and leader, who is out for the rest of the year and out indefinitely, unfortunately, with a bad injury. Clay Dimmick, as we take a look at Nacho Novo there on the bench as the acting head coach for these final 5 games of the regular season. We talked about it in our open. Named interim head coach earlier today, Sam Stockley, moving full-time into the sporting director role, which was his role at the start of the club when they first began their build-out a couple years ago. And so they said this was always planned, and they wanted to get a jump on vetting and possibly interviewing permanent head coaches So the move before the end of this season, they feel will allow them to get a jump on that process. Nacho Novo, hugely experienced as a player. They really think highly of him as a coach as well. Gabriel Oberton with the challenge and whistled for the foul, and you can see his disagreement, but a free kick for Lexington in a promising position. As Diouf squaring that ball to Nico Brown, who was able to wedge his body in front of Oberton, and Oberton, the former Manchester United and Newcastle United player, really irate with the decision from Joe Sergen. Interesting distance. This is over 30 yards out. And swung toward Diouf, who got his head to it, but couldn't direct it goalward, and it's a goal kick. A couple decently worked set pieces so far for Lexington. Charlotte head coach Mike Jeffries said this week that he expected Lexington would start the game with lots of energy and some pressure. He said it would be up to them as the visiting team to manage those opening 10 to 15 minutes. There's a big collision there and a free kick. As Bashir Ndiaye piled into by Mane. Corey Bennett, who scored in his last 2 games. They have spread the scoring out pretty evenly across this Charlotte roster. No one player carrying the load. Jeffries felt that's been a real strength of theirs this year. This rolls through to him all night. 8 goals for Tresor Mbuyu. Dane Kelly has scored 7. He's on the bench. He'll be available as an attacking option later in this game. Joel Johnson has contributed 6. Corey Bennett has 5 now. Nick Spielman, who's a center back, has chipped in with 3. So that's the balance we were talking about. All night, calmly chopping that back onto his left foot as Miguel Ibarra tried to close him down. A little bit of a press being applied by Charlotte early on. Lexington calmly using him all night as another outfield player. Help them try to deal with this press. Taking that ball under a bit of duress, but handling it calmly once again. It's such a key part of being a modern goalkeeper, is being able to play the ball with your feet. And a dangerous ball back, and it might slip in. Khalid Balogun, but whistled down for a foul. Charlotte living dangerously there, and Balogun thought he was away. Neat little exchange between Balogun and Owen Green, and that back pass. Boy, Balogun nicked the ball initially, but then just clipped his man on the way by. Unfortunate for him and for Lexington, because otherwise he was through on a 2-on-1. Tresor Mbuyu dropping deep to pick up the ball early on, trying to launch it forward in the direction of Joel Johnson, who has made a long foray forward. Interesting, Joel Johnson being shown on the team sheet as playing the right back position, but he is out there on the high left wing in these opening 10 minutes. So Mike Jeffries maybe springing a little bit of a tactical surprise early on. Meanwhile, you see that number 27, that's Bashir Ndiaye, who's dropping back almost as part of that back line, staying a little bit higher on the flank. It's well worked by Lexington in the center of the park to keep possession. Diouf. Good spell of possession here for the home side. Charlotte dropping back and going to cut off the forward lanes. Lexington work it patiently, and now down the right side. This is going to stay in play for Nico Brown. Down by the corner flag, up against Tresor Mbuyu. Kept moving well for Charlie Machel, and Machel across the face. Was that touched out by Johnson? It was. Joel Johnson feeling he couldn't take a chance and needed to put it out of play, in a second corner in these opening 10 minutes for Lexington. Corners presented by UK Healthcare.
Lexington SC corner will be taken by number 2, Tate Robertson.
It is Tate Robertson who takes just about all of their set pieces. Mike Jeffries spoke earlier this week about the importance of limiting set pieces against Lexington because Tate Robertson's deliveries, whether from open play on the wing or from these free kicks and corners, is so high quality. Takes it short here to Machel, who returns it to Robertson. Now a chance to arc one into the box, and it's gorgeous. Headed away, though, by Nick Spielman, who's been terrific on that back line for Charlotte this year. And Corey Bennett may be impeded, but Avion Flanagan is away, an advantage being played. And Flanagan has one up with him. That's Miguel Ibarra making the run to the right. Flanagan goes it himself and flies it over the bar. That's the danger that Avion Flanagan shows on that wing. So fast. He admitted on a podcast earlier this year that finishing isn't his strong suit. Usually looks to set people up, but boy did he sit a defender down there. He really didn't have a whole lot of help on that counter, to be fair. Just Ibarra up with him. Not many options. You can't blame him for taking it on. Good start to this game. Both sides looking dangerous. Both sides getting forward quickly. That's what we expected. Two teams very capable of scoring goals. That's been the case up and down the league this year. It's been such an entertaining season in League One. Here goes Nico Brown. So many high-scoring, crazy, chaotic matches in the league this year. Just last night we had a pair of 3-2 games. That North Carolina FC Tormenta game featured 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to turn that thoroughly around. Lexington seeking the opener here. That's good body positioning by Omar Sis. There were also 2 penalty kicks saved last night in the league. What can these two sides serve up tonight as a capper on week 27? The only game in League One this evening. Here's Corey Bennett working his way into the center of the park. Tresor Mbuyu now. Flipping it into the area over everyone's head. And the Mall Knight gathers. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Atez Diouf, hassled on the ball, does well to keep it with an assist from Pierre Manet. Lexington 6 wins, 5 draws, only 2 defeats all season long here at Toyota Stadium, which will not be their permanent home, but they have made it their home this year. You see the home record on your screen there, even though it is an American football field with the yard lines and such. They like the surface. They like how fast it is. They feel it suits them. And their tempo has been very high and noticeably better at home compared to their travels this year. Coming together between Corey Bennett and Tate Robertson, and a free kick for Charlotte. Away from home, Lexington, as mentioned, have won just once. Interestingly, that was against Northern Colorado, who are currently top of the league. That crazy comeback from 3-1 down in the final 15 minutes to win 4-3 in Windsor over a month ago. Atez Diouf had a hat trick in that one, but that's the only time they've won away from home all year. They have drawn 3 and lost 10 on their travels, so just 6 points on the road, 23 points at home. Their home form has been plenty good enough to be in a playoff spot. Could have just been a little bit better away from home. They'd be in a much better position overall this year. This is served into the path of Bashir Ndiaye. Now Omar Sis. Oberton was a bit too hot for him to handle. And Mane settles and looks to start a counter. Nice weight on that ball for Robertson, who touched it around Sis. This is good from Lexington and promising. It's Diouf. Atez Diouf. Nico Brown. Diouf! Vital intervention. Cleared by Hector Acosta. Otherwise, Diouf had a tap in. Lexington restart the attack right away. Back stick, over the foot, and head and shoulder of Diouf. Goal kick. You can see how fast and direct and flowing Lexington can be. Diouf slickly out to Nico Brown there. It was a really good ball across the face. Needed a good clearance. Austin Pack, the goalkeeper, was scrambling. Joel Johnson, Oberton steps up to win it. Oberton always menacing on the ball. Cross, pinging off Eric Ceja Gonzalez. Attacking throw for Charlotte by the corner. Quarter of an hour gone. Good to see a lot of the fans sticking around through that nearly 2-hour weather delay. It's been a really good atmosphere at Toyota Stadium. Another reason Sam Stockley acknowledged this week for his side's success on this pitch this year. The overlapping run is from Ndiaye. His cross headed away by Kalen Fox, the Kentucky native, who returned to his home state this year with this new side. It's quite a back pass. Austin Pack having to back up, but did well. Well, Charlotte have been under duress a few times, but have gotten through that opening 15 minutes. They are always a threat on the counter, which is why it's a bit surprising that they haven't won more games on the road this year. They're the kind of team with the type of makeup that you would think would lend itself to better road performances. They love playing at home in Charlotte. Wide, expansive, natural grass pitch. It suits their game very well. Oberton, that's a neat ball. Served all the way across, falls eventually to Joel Johnson. One back by Diouf, who then was clipped and fouled. Time now for our UK healthcare injury report. As you see, Oberton feeling the effects of that one. No injuries reported for Lexington. Clay Dimmick is out for Charlotte, along with Ryan JJ. And their backup goalkeeper as well. See this foul again. Mentioned Gabriel Oberton. They weren't sure if he'd be able to play today. Only returned to training yesterday after picking up a knock during the game last weekend. It's a Lexington player who has stayed down, it appears. That is Atez Diouf, who went back to the turf after taking that challenge. It's been such a breakout year for Diouf. He played a handful of games in the USL Championship a couple seasons prior, but had never really been given an extended run of games at that level. Only scored a small handful of goals in his pro career, but 12 of them already this season, and still time to add to that. Here are the live standings, the top four in this 12-team table. Northern Colorado, Omaha, and North Carolina all clinching playoff spots last night. And there you see Charlotte in fourth as things currently stand with 44 points, if you count 1 point for what currently is a draw. So it's a tall task for Charlotte to get into that top two, or even the top three. But just finishing fourth is valuable because that at least gets you a home game in the first round of the playoffs. We just talked about how much better Charlotte had been at home this year. So they would greatly prefer to welcome someone American Legion Memorial Stadium instead of having to travel somewhere for that first round. And of course, they have not officially clinched a playoff spot at all yet. They are 7 points above that playoff line. Atez Diouf has come back onto the pitch now after receiving that treatment. Here's Flanagan into the path of Mbuyu. Tresor Mbuyu trying to cross, asking for a handball. Big shouts for handball. Joe Sergen doesn't give it, gives the corner instead. Mbuyu up against Eric Ceja Gonzalez, who immediately said, nope, that was my chest. It's become so difficult to parse handball laws in different leagues around the world. Into the box that goes, knotted up by Bennett onto the roof of the net. Corey Bennett finding that goal-scoring form again the last 2 games. Scored in double figures last year for Charlotte. Balagoon had that run off his toes. And Diahe is fouled. Balagoon, I think, being warned by Joe Sergen. He's been whistled a couple times. Balagoon, who's an All-American twice at St. Mary's, played with Maryland Bobcats in Nisa for the last 3 years. Many of the players that Sam Stockley recruited for this inaugural Lexington squad have been passed over by other clubs, or a truly hungry group eager to prove other people wrong who had passed on them over the years. Here's Mbuyu now off a giveaway. Mbuyu straight at night. Chesting that down, and then Owen Green fell down, which let Mbuyu by. Mbuyu had Gabriel Oberton overlapping there in some space. But even when you're playing with a guy who once played for Manchester United, when you're a striker, you still want to shoot. Interception there by Joel Johnson. Good decision by Mane as Miguel Ibarra was trying to jump that passing route. Nico Brown. Frankie Martinez, good ball. Charlie Machel. Nico Brown. Trying to measure across perhaps. Trying to cut to the inside now. He goes down, penalty. Apparently just inside the box. And referee Joe Sergen pointing emphatically to the spot. Let's see exactly where this occurred. Of course, it can be difficult to see with all those lines. But oh yes, that's definitely inside the 18. And a spot kick just over a quarter into this match. Nico Brown, you saw him getting up and immediately pointing to himself, but it's Atez Diouf who looks like he's standing over it. Only 2 players have taken penalties this year for Lexington. One of them, Don Smart, who has scored all 6 that he's taken. He's not in the 18 at all today. Atez Diouf is the other. He's scored all 3 of his penalties this season, including one last weekend at Central Valley. And so Diouf steps up and is saved by Austin Pack. The rebound, stabbed home, but the offside flag is up. It won't count, and it stays 0-0. The Pac-Man bails out Independence and keeps this game goalless midway through the first half. It's the third save penalty of the weekend, and Diouf opened his foot, tried to side foot it into that right side netting, and Pack read it all the way. What a good push off he gets, and what a strong hand with his left. And then the ball was put in the net, but it was touched home on the goal line, I think by Balagoon. It's tough to see from that angle. If Balagoon lets that go, it might have gone in anyway. And if it had, then it would have counted because it was Balagoon who was in an offside position with that final touch. Crazy sequence, big chance missed. Lexington go right back on the attack. Robertson trying to thread in Balagoon, shielded off the ball. And Austin Pack out to gather and took a clattering in the process. It was good shielding by Hector Acosta to keep himself between Balagoon and the ball and allow his goalkeeper to gather. You saw Joe Sergen pointing to 3 different occasions and saying to Balagoon, no more, next time you're going in the book. Good initial touch by Balagoon here. Not sure how much contact there actually was, but Joe Sergen still felt Balagoon was out of control enough to merit a warning. Charlotte's defensive record has been much improved this year. Their goals against rate far, far better than it was last season. And Mike Jeffries said this week that was mostly down to Austin Pack. He said he's bailed us out a bunch of times. Certainly bailed them out on that penalty save a couple minutes ago. Good sliding tackle by Mane to break up that play. Then Robertson had his jersey tugged by Johnson. Wears the name Gallego on the back of his shirt, by the way, if you're confused, but he is listed on the roster as Joel Johnson. Miguel Ibarra. Slick one-touch passing to work themselves out of that triangle, and here's Oberton off a brilliant crossfield switch. The overlap from Flanagan, really an underlap, and here goes Avion Flanagan. Flanagan just had it run away from him, put out by Fox. Now it's Charlotte's turn to probe and attack. Clever from Oberton, but couldn't quite execute the over-the-shoulder maneuver. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023 as we wind down the stretch of this season. Whether your club's on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+, the home to the USL, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Eric Ceja Gonzalez advancing and then shoved down by Ibarra. Got up and got on with it right away. This Lexington side will play with some real flair. You saw that casual backheel pass, the no-look backheel from Mane. They will do things like that. It's part of why they've been such a fun side to watch this year. Even though they have been very inconsistent, very up and down. But when they're up, they're way up. Fast, flashy, fun. It's been a style befitting that thoroughbred on their crest. Here's Corey Bennett, though. Charlotte capable of that kind of play themselves, and Bennett bundled over. Free kick in an attacking position for the visitors now. Some slight contact from behind by Atez Diouf. Johnson and Flanagan over it. Both very capable of delivering telling balls. Flanagan has that really good left foot. Johnson would be with the right. The white shirts line up at the top of the area. It is Flanagan, and it's away by Fox. And Diouf looks to touch it around and advance. He does well, and he releases Tate Robertson down that left side, and he has Balogun sprinting down the middle. It's Khalid Balogun. Balogun off the post. He struck it well. He struck the foot of the woodwork. It stays out, and it stays 0-0 a half an hour in. Lexington continue to knock. Here's Mane. Here's Nico Brown. It hit the football goal post. It was deflected. It will be a corner, although it looked like the offside flag was raised on the far side. Will this be a corner or not? We'll find out in a moment. First, Balogun's chance. Had to get it out of his feet initially. Cut inside and then out. Back onto his right foot and an inch away.
Lexington SC corner, taken by number 2, Tate Robertson.
It is a corner. As that attempt by Nico Brown apparently took a deflection over the bar. So Tate Robertson will take an outswinger and instead short along the ground. Mane clips it in. Heads go up. Back post. Side netting. And no corner given that time, much to Lexington's dismay. Nico Brown upset about that. Interesting mental test as we'll see this last sequence again. Mane with a good ball in. It was Balogun who got the head to it into the path of Brown, who thought that there was an additional touch and that they should have had another set piece. It's an interesting mental challenge, though, for this young Lexington side. Having a penalty saved, hitting the post, coming close on a few occasions, not finding the breakthrough yet. That might be a booking for Balogun. He was already warned, and he'll go into the book now indeed. First yellow card of the evening for his 4th foul of the first half. Just talked about the importance of keeping your head. That's a needless foul. Miguel Ibarra in his own half. Very good on the ball in all portions of the pitch, but he's not going to score from there. Balogun, knowing he was a foul away from a booking, just over a half an hour in. No need for that. Now he has to walk that tightrope. And here's Oberton. Trying to slide it to Bennett, but put it behind him. A bit of miscommunication between the two. Johnson wins it back. Sis, Oberton in a pocket of space. Oberton with the left. Oh, that's the class of a man who once played for Manchester United. Gabriel Oberton. Oh, so good for Charlotte. They open the scoring in the 33rd minute.
Goal by number 56, Gabriel.
He loves it in Charlotte. That's why he's playing at this level. He still loves being on the pitch. He loves his teammates, and he's still able to produce moments like that. He found that pocket of space, and that was all he needed. Gorgeous. Superb. Sensational. Absolutely no chance for Amal Knight, who was rooted to the spot. He was never going to get to that, even if he had dove. So after Lexington had all those chances, including the penalty, they didn't capitalize, and now they trail. Oberton on the chase again. Kalen Fox gets there first. I spoke a moment ago before the goal about what a mental test this would be for a young Lexington side. Having missed those chances, keep their heads up and to keep going. Now they've absorbed a real gut punch. Find themselves behind against the run of play. How do they respond to that? For Charlotte, a big opportunity to build on that now. A win tonight would be massive for them. Take another big step towards solidifying a postseason spot and possibly solidifying a top 4 finish and home field in the first round at least. Top 2 finishers, of course, gain a first round bye and home field in the semifinal round. That's a tall order for Charlotte. They're a ways off that top 2. 9 points behind at the start of the night. But if you finish 3rd or 4th, you do have to play a first round game, but you play it at home. 5th or 6th, you go on the road for that first round. Top of the box, this is Diouf. Diouf and Brown, I think, got in each other's way, and they lose it. One back by Fox, who recycles it all the way back to him all night. Fascinating game. Lexington far, far from being out of it. Charlotte will love the position they're in now. Now they can sit back a bit more, welcome Lexington to try to come onto them and try to hit them on the counter, which again, they're very well equipped to do. Tate Robertson. Robertson whips it toward that back post, and a high boot by Diouf, who commits the foul on Nick Spielman. It's another gorgeous cross, though, from Tate Robertson. He's another player who's had a breakout year for Lexington. Another player who didn't get a lot of attention out of college. Played at a mid-major. It's a great ball. Diouf is trying to take it down. Got a piece of Spielman instead. Tate Robertson played at Bowling Green. He was in USL League Two and Nisa. See Gabriel Oberton, the goal scorer. That was his 3rd of the year. He's had an injury-plagued campaign. But when he's fit, he is still magic. Flanagan now, accelerating down that left flank. Avion Flanagan over the head of his 2 attackers in the box. Johnson, contact foul, Mane, the guilty party this time. Balagoon was in the vicinity as well. Of course, Balagoon's on a yellow. See his teammates, and I think that's Nacho Novo, the interim head coach, who is shouting at him from the touchline, shut up. Did not want him talking himself into a second yellow. I'm not sure if it was Balagoon who was whistled for the foul there. Maybe just the slightest of right hands onto the back of Johnson. I thought Mane was the one who had been whistled. Either way, Johnson takes the free kick toward the top of the 6-yard box and nodded over. A pretty good chance in the end. I think that was Spielman who had gotten himself forward. Mentioned he scored 3 times. Yeah, it was. And he's been good for those kinds of set pieces. He gets up well. Didn't really get up far enough for that one to guide it under the crossbar. Six and a half minutes plus stoppage time remaining in this opening half. Lexington find an equalizer before then. Could Charlotte hit them on the counter again and double their lead before the break? Off of Owen Green last, and the throw in for Charlotte. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. Free to play. Download now. Great to see USL continue to make its way more and more into the national consciousness. Growth of this league continues to be remarkable. Lexington, one of the signs of that, having a great first year. Along the end line now, that's last off Spielman and a corner. Be the fourth UK Healthcare corner of this opening half for Lexington. Nico Brown's been a constant threat down that right side. Tate Robertson. No, looks like it's actually going to be Charlie Machel who will deliver this one. Again, taken short. Mane. Couldn't beat the first man. That cannoned off Oberton, and it's going to stay in play for Mane, or for Mbuyu, excuse me, and it's Mane who slides it out of play. 40 minutes on the clock. Final 5 of the first half. Oberton. Beautiful ball, although off the high bounce, Bennett couldn't keep it in. Gabriel Oberton is feeling it tonight, though. The scorer of the goal. A couple other quality moments as well, as Knight has to come out and gather this. Montez Diouf, frustrating first half for him, had the penalty saved. A couple other half chances he wasn't able to capitalize upon. Good overlap there. Owen Green trying to exchange with Nico Brown, just caught the back of his heel. Good idea. Lots of good ideas for Lexington in this first half, just hasn't quite come off. That's a rare bad ball from Oberton, who thought Omar Sis was going to step forward for it. They conduct an inquest among themselves. It didn't cost them. And this is the only game in USL League One tonight. Just one game in progress in USL Championship right now as well. That's Rio Grande Valley and Birmingham Legion. They are 0-0 in the 18th minute. They also had a weather delay, so. We've had to wait for our USL soccer on this Sunday evening. We appreciate you waiting and staying with us. We have indeed been waiting all day for Sunday night. Good ball. Tate Robertson takes it down first time. See Ibarra so tight to him. Keep him from delivering one of those telling crosses. Worked patiently, though, to Frankie Martinez. Exchanging with Brown. Martinez swings it in. Ibarra out for a corner. Fifth corner of the half then for Lexington, again presented by UK Healthcare. Tate Robertson has this one in his hands.
Lexington SC corner, taken by number 2, Tate Robertson.
It'd be such a big boost for them to grab that goal back before half. Machel rakes it to the back post, and the whistle blows, and the pressure relieved for Charlotte. Been about a half a dozen beautiful crosses put in by Lexington in this first half. Most from Robertson, but that one from Machel. He's very capable as well with that right foot. None of them have paid off just yet, and Austin Pack, that massive penalty save in the 23rd minute. One of the major moments of this opening half. Last night, Central Valley came into their game 8 for 8 from the penalty spot, and they had a crucial penalty saved at almost the exact same time in the first half, in that 23rd minute. Lalo Delgado saving it for Northern Colorado. Tonight, Lexington were 9 for 9 from the penalty spot coming in. Their perfect record also now blemished. Gonzalez. Mane. Doesn't reach Owen Green. Corey Bennett. And the hold-up play from Oberton, who looks to spring Bennett down that left side. Way out of his goal. Amal Knight. What a calm touch. Had to get it right, and did. We're into the final minute of the 45. Machel to the feet of Balagoon. Tried to accelerate around the corner, but Spielman stepping up from his center back spot. That's a risky challenge for a center back, because if you miss that ball, your man's away down that flank and you're way out of position. Spielman won the challenge. It was a neat turn by Diouf, who thought he was clipped and should have been fouled, in his opinion. Lexington can't believe they didn't get a free kick there, as we have the indication of 2 additional minutes to be played at the end of this first half.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee has added 2 minutes of stoppage time. 2 minutes of stoppage time. That stoppage time will be kept on the field and not on the scoreboard's clock. 2 minutes of stoppage time.
Charlotte appear content to play out these remaining 2 minutes if possible and get to the break a goal to the good. Of course, Northern Colorado looked similarly content last night at Central Valley and then scored in the 4th minute of first half stoppage time. Oberton waited patiently for that ball to come down. Now posts up with it. Somehow got his cross away. And Buyu keeps it in on that touchline, but then slipped. Might be a chance to counter for Lexington now. Charlotte got themselves a little bit stretched. Here's Diouf. His white shirts trying to race back into position. Diouf feeds Brown. Nico Brown. Time for one more attack for Lexington. Still Brown. His cross. Well, not sure if that was intended to be a cross or a shot in the end. Harmlessly out for a goal kick. Nico Brown's had a strong campaign himself. He scored 7 times. He's been the second leading scorer, in fact, for Lexington. They've moved him further forward to that forward position as the season has gone on. Anyway, Fox had to wait for that to come down out of the sky. All night, just hammers it out of play in these final seconds of the first half. Joe Sergen looks at his watch, blows the whistle, and that's all for the opening 45 minutes. A lot of good moments for Lexington, but one moment was the moment that mattered most, and it was delivered by that man, Gabriel Oberton, in the 35th, with a gorgeous, curling, left-footed finish from outside the box. And it's the difference in the first half. 45 minutes gone, 45 to go at Toyota Stadium in Georgetown. Charlotte Independence trying to win on the road for just a 4th time this year and solidify a top 4 spot in the standings. The penalty save from Austin Pack means that at the break it's Charlotte Independence 1, Lexington SC 0.
Saving up for your goals should be effortless. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union invented Roundup. Roundup automatically puts money into your savings account by rounding up every purchase to the nearest dollar. So your morning brew? Savings. Dinner with friends? How about a side of savings? Mobile purchase? Mobile savings. In fact, last year our members saved $5.5 million just through Roundup. We'll even match your savings for the first 90 days. It's time to make your savings effortless with Roundup. Only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Lexington is the Kentuckiest place in the world. Just look at it. It's by far the bluegrassiest, the bourbonist. See? The artsiest, and hands down, the horsiest. Oh, look, that one has a baby. I don't know why you would look anywhere else. Looking for the coolest, most Kentuckiest getaway? Look at Lexington.
Commonwealth Credit Union is growing and hiring. If you have a passion to help others, come check us out. Our mission is to better lives in the communities we serve through financial products and services, leading-edge technology, and a commitment to treat every person with respect. If you'd like to join our team, visit our website to learn more about our extraordinary culture, pay, benefits, and the many more reasons we are voted the best place to work in Kentucky. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
The beautiful Lexington, Kentucky area, the backdrop for USL League One action here on this Sunday. Meanwhile, lots of great games around League One yesterday. There were 4 of them, in fact, and let's see the highlights from those. And we start in North Carolina, where NCFC took on Tormenta, trying to stay top of the table, but they fell behind in the 21st minute as this great scissor kick finish by Kwele Akale. Boy, has he scored some pretty goals this year, and he added another one to his collection. It was 1-0 at the break. NCFC, though, struck back just after halftime in the 49th minute after a giveaway on the edge of the box. Fell to Alex Anderson, and what a finish into that bottom right corner to even things up at 1-1. And then 11 minutes later, North Carolina took the lead. Another bad giveaway by Tormenta. It was eventually played to the feet of Alex Anderson, and watch this finish. Perfect once again, and NCFC had turned it around and led 2-1, and it looked like they would stay top of the table, but a late rally by Tormenta, the defending champions, keeping their faint playoff hopes alive. Jackson Curry, off that steal, was able to find that bottom right-hand corner and make it 2-2, and just when it looked like it might end in a draw, in the 4th minute of stoppage time, taken by Chris Heckenberg, chested along by Keziah Sterling into the path of Kingsford Ajay. Dramatic late winner. You see the celebrations, what it meant to Tormenta. It does keep their playoff hopes alive for now. 3-2 the final. North Carolina knocked off the top of the table as a result. To Chattanooga then, where the Red Wolves were taking on Union Omaha, who were seeking their 9th consecutive win, and they got off to a great start in the 17th minute. Steven Dos Santos following up the rebound to pot his 8th goal of the year. And then in the 34th, look at this corner kick routine, flipped along and turned in by Marco Milanese. His first professional goal put Omaha 2 to the good. 5 minutes later, though, Chattanooga got back into it. Free kick by Riley Kraft, but somehow got through the Omaha wall and skipped over Rashid Nuhu. 2-1 at that point, but the Owls scored a crucial third just before halftime. Joe Brito finishing off a flowing move. Another assist for Luis Heel, who's had a ton of them this year. Omaha again made life difficult for themselves late on. A bad back pass, confusion apparently, and it was put home by Ropapa Mensah, but again, Omaha hanging on. A League One record 9 wins in a row now for them. Meanwhile, a huge playoff bubble game between One Knoxville and Greenville, and One Knox had a golden chance to take an early lead. A penalty awarded after Gio Calixtro was brought down, but Ilya Illich from the resulting spot kick off the post, and he couldn't control the rebound. And it stayed 0-0, and that was a huge turning point in the match because just a little bit later in the 40th minute, Greenville would score the only goal of the game, and it was a really good move down the left side. Look at this one-touch soccer. It results in an excellent cross, and look at that reach from Leo Castro to spear it into the net. That would hold up. Greenville saw it out expertly in the second half. 1-0 they win on the road, and that gives them cushion over One Knox for that last playoff spot, 6th in the table currently. And we ended out west with a late game, and it was Northern Colorado with a chance to go back to the top of the table because of North Carolina's loss, and they took advantage. They scored early as Trevor Ammon was brought down. The penalty awarded. Ammon dusted himself down and put it in himself for his record 20th goal of the season. Nobody's ever scored that many in League One, and he got them off to that early lead. A penalty would be awarded for Central Valley, though, a few minutes later, but Alexis Cerritos couldn't capitalize. Lalo Delgado saving his 3rd penalty of the year. That ties him to the league lead. What a massive moment that was, as it kept them ahead by that lone goal. And then very late in the first half, Marky Hernandez with the dagger. 4th minute of stoppage time, able to curl that gorgeously for his 4th goal in his last 6. Northern Colorado back to the top with that 2-0 win.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives, it's saving lifetimes.
News and notes from around USL League One. Javon Marsh, the third Red Wolf to earn the Player of the Month honor. He tallied a goal in 4 consecutive matches this month. Congratulations to Javon. Dominic Casciato, the Coach of the Month, meanwhile, leading the Owls to a flawless August, part of now a 9-match winning run. 15 points out of 15, the only team to finish the month undefeated. And Pedro Dolabella, Player of the Week, with 3 goal contributions across 2 Owls victories last week. Current playoff odds: North Carolina FC, Northern Colorado Hailstorm, and Union Omaha all clinching a postseason spot last night. Charlotte not quite there, still couldn't quite clinch with a win today, but they'd be darn close. They're already darn close as it is. And you see the low odds right now for one Knox after that pivotal loss against Greenville yesterday. Tormenta still with a faint chance. Lexington wouldn't quite be eliminated with a loss today, but they'd be 11 points out with just 12 points remaining, so it would be almost a done deal if they don't win this one. Upcoming schedule for Lexington, meanwhile, their final 4 matches of the regular season: against Chattanooga, at Forward Madison, home to North Carolina FC, and that could be a crucial one for NCFC at least, and then at Greenville to wrap up the season. For Charlotte, meanwhile, they've been such a good team at home this year, and 3 of their last 4 in the regular season are at home: against Forward Madison and 1 Knoxville, their last remaining road trip to Union Omaha, which will be certainly a challenging one on the 4th, and then they wrap up on the 14th at home to Tormenta. More from halftime. We'll have your first half highlights and stats and get you ready for kickoff in the second half after this.
Lexington is the Kentuckiest place in the world. Just look at it. It's by far the bluegrassiest, the bourbonist. See? The artsiest, and hands down, the horsiest. Oh, look, that one has a baby. I don't know why you would look anywhere else. Looking for the coolest, most Kentuckiest getaway? Look at Lexington.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up?
Keep the rhythm going.
Or get up?
Perfect.
Who's not a runner now?
Good, we're gonna take it
You
up.
don't have to be an elite athlete to be treated like one. UK Healthcare, orthopedic surgery, and sports medicine. The power of advanced medicine.
This is where worry turns into relief, where confusion turns into answers. This is where your family can turn to the experts for the big things and the little things. Extraordinary care is right here. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
We had to wait a while, but it was an entertaining and intriguing first half here in Georgetown, Kentucky. 1-0, Charlotte Independence leading Lexington SC. Let's see the highlights from those opening 45 minutes after nearly a 2-hour weather delay. In the 23rd minute, the first significant opportunity arrived. A penalty awarded as Nico Brown was clipped on the edge of the area by Omar Sis. Brown wanted to take it. Atez Diouf, though, who had scored his previous 3 penalties, denied brilliantly by Austin Pack. What a great save this is. Full extension with that left hand. Still had to be really strong with it to keep it out, and did so. 7 minutes later, another chance, and this time it was Khalid Balogun. First cutting inside, back out, worked the half-yard of space to get the shot away, and just nailed the bottom of the post. And it came out and stayed out. Balogun was all over the place in that first half. Picked up a booking as well. Nearly picked up the opening goal. And then 3 minutes later, it was Charlotte who opened the scoring against the run of play, but they couldn't care less. Omar Sis rolling it to Gabriel Oberton, and Gabriel Oberton, to say the least, did the rest. What an absolutely gorgeous strike with the left. You just don't see that too often at this level, but he's a man playing at a level that, well, you won't see many players of his caliber at this level, because he loves playing in Charlotte after playing at the levels in which he previously played. Our match stats, you see 9 shots for Lexington in the first half. They had a lot of good play in the attack, but you have to make that count on the score sheet. They weren't able to, and they have the chance to do so in the second half now, but Gabriel Oberton providing that moment of difference in the opening 45. Exchanging a joke with Tresor Mbuyu before we get things back underway for the second half. Oberton played in Charlotte when they were still in USL Championship. Again, just loves playing for the city. He loves playing for Mike Jeffries, loves playing with his teammates, and just loves continuing to play in general. And that's why he's still here. I mentioned it's been an injury-plagued campaign for him, but when he's on the pitch, when he's fit. Remember, they weren't sure he'd be fit for tonight. He passed a late fitness test, apparently. When I spoke to Mike Jeffries a couple days ago, he wasn't sure if he'd be able to go. But he did, and Charlotte are certainly glad that he did. So now here we go in the second half. What can Lexington find in the way of a response? They attack from left to right in their black and green kits. Can they keep their heads up and continue to press and attack the way they did in the first half, but find the end product to go along with it? Can they avoid being hit on the counterattack as well while they chase that goal, which Charlotte are very good and capable of doing? Lexington wouldn't quite be eliminated from playoff contention officially with a loss tonight, but they would be 11 points out of 6th place with only 12 points left to play for. 4 games left after this one. So it's already unlikely, and it would be extremely unlikely, but not totally mathematically impossible if they don't rally in this second half. It's been a good first year for them regardless. Again, with some better road form, they'd be in a much different position. Here's some space for Miguel Ibarra. Team leading 8 assists on the year for him. He has Flanagan to his left and uses him. Flanagan marked by Owen Green, muscled off the ball with too much gusto by Green in the estimation of Joe Sergin, and a free kick. Flanagan, this ball sent him wide by the touchline, and just a bit too much with that leading arm, apparently. And Flanagan has stayed down. couldn't really see, since it was out of our view, exactly what Flanagan may have hit after being knocked to the ground, or if he just landed awkwardly. Good to see him back up. And pawing at that neck and shoulder area. It's always a danger when you go tumbling down hard like that. That whole collarbone shoulder area, always a vulnerable one. Of course, we don't know if that's the issue. That seems to be the area that he's holding. Joel Johnson over the ball, ready to take the free kick. Flanagan still taking some treatment, but looks like he's able to continue. So Johnson swings it toward the back post. Flicked away by Frankie Martinez, and it will be a throw by the corner flag. It's a bit of early pressure for Charlotte in the opening minutes of this second half. Johnson. His cross, out comes him all night. Easy take. He rolls Owen Green the other direction. And it came off Green and out for a throw. Owen Green does love to get forward from that right back position. Scored a winner for Lexington's first ever victory as a club against defending champions Tormenta way back in April. It was from one of those marauding runs forward. He did that quite a bit for Tormenta last year as part of their title-winning squad. It's a neat layoff, and Johnson keeps it in play. Joel Johnson. Now Oberton. Left that a little bit short for Mbuyu. It came off Mbuyu and will be a goal kick. National Suicide Prevention Week is September 10th through September 16th, so just coming to an end this weekend. But to support the mental health of our communities, the USL has partnered with the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you need support, please call or text 988 now. And remember, you are not alone. All night, pressured by Ibarra, handles it again. It's not been the start to the second half that I think Lexington would have wanted. A chance for them perhaps to build an attack now. Balagoon couldn't bring it under control, does earn a throw, as Nick Spielman put it out of play. Charlie Machel wearing that captain's armband tonight. Green, and now Nico Brown, who was dangerous on that right side in the first half. Green again, wanted to cut inside. Fell kindly to Mane. Brown. Danced around the challenge of Mbuyu, who made contact, and will be a free kick on this wing. And chance for Tate Robertson maybe, or perhaps Charlie Machel to whip one in from this set piece. Although they're in a good position, I do think Mike Jeffries will be a little bit annoyed at the number of set pieces they've given away in these opening 51 minutes. Lexington haven't been able to punish them for many of them, but it's a matter of time if you keep giving Tate Robertson and Charlie Machel the chances to swing crosses in. It is Mitchell or Machel to run over this one. Robertson delivers, and from the doorstep of the goal, it was flicked backward and out. That was a great defensive header, and it needed to be. Another quality delivery from Tate Robertson. We'll come over and take this ensuing throw. Robertson will launch this one into the box. It's over the head of Gonzalez. Mane takes it down, serves it back out to Robertson. Robertson closed quickly, but gets his cross away. By that end line, did it stay in play? No. Goal kick. Kalen Fox all the way forward. Lexington, of course, have options off the bench as this second half goes on. So Kim is available. He's been a good attacking presence at times this year. Jalen James, exciting young forward. You might see him at some point in this second half. Man who was named a top 20 prospect in USL League Two last year. Josh Head, another young forward from the state of Kentucky, also on the bench. It is a very young bench in an attacking sense, but Lexington are okay with that. They are happy to build for the future. Here's Corey Bennett, and Bennett made contact with Eric Gonzalez, and a free kick for Lexington. The USL is celebrating Hispanic Latino Heritage Month with stories, events, and more, bringing to life this special celebration across the league. Go to uslsoccer.com/Hispanic-heritage to learn more. Here's Owen Green now. Not his best ball forward. Opening 9 minutes of the second half, Charlotte keeping Lexington much more quiet than they did in the first half. Spoke about it at the beginning of the match as Buyu plays it back rather ambitiously to Austin Pack. Lexington have only lost twice on this turf this year. It's good attacking play by Kalen Fox, and he earns a corner for the home side. The only two games that Lexington have lost here this year, to Tormenta on July 2nd, to Greenville on April 22nd. UK Healthcare corner kick, the first of the second half. Comes 10 minutes into it. Touch to Tate Robertson. Rolls it along to Mane. Plays it in first time and over hits it. And that's a waste for Lexington. We've had some inventive corner routines tonight. We've had a few that have worked pretty well until the final touch. That one less so. Seeing teams at all levels of the game come up with all kinds of inventive free kick and corner kick routines these days. Set piece is always such a tricky thing to practice at full speed in training. If you talk to coaches, they'll tell you it's always a delicate balance to strike, because set pieces, of course, are so critical to a team's success. And yet to practice them at full speed is one of the more dangerous things to do in training. Because anytime you're whipping free kicks and corner kicks into a crowded area and you have lots of your own players jumping for them together, always the danger of head injuries, head collisions, other collisions, injuries on the landing. So it's always a delicate thing for coaches to decide how much of that full speed training to do at set pieces, but you have to work on them at some point. Sometimes it's more video and mental work. Other times they decide they need to do it full speed, whatever the consequences may be. This is Balagoon. Quiet so far in the second half. Challenged well by Hector Acosta, who's had a good night on that back line. Balagoon goes over and is awarded a free kick. No argument from Acosta. Taken quickly, and out comes Austin Pack. He makes a big save. He took some contact as well. He gets up holding the side of his face, but play continues. Well, that free kick surprised everybody and nearly resulted in the equalizer. But Austin Pack, the one man who wasn't surprised, he was quick off his line and came out to smother and is still feeling the effects of the contact, apparently. Well, Austin Pack has been such a difference maker in goal for Charlotte. And there was the award of the free kick, and here Mane, see him set it down and play it immediately, and Nico Brown was in. The rest of the Charlotte defense went to sleep, but fortunately for them, Austin Pack did not. Turns into a de facto hydration break, even though we weren't supposed to have those tonight, as Austin Pack is attended to. Here are those live standings as things currently are in this game. If you give Charlotte the 3 points for this, which of course they've not made it all certain yet, as Mike Jeffries discusses things with Mbuyu and Ibarra on the touchline. But if Charlotte were to hang on, they'd be on 46 points. Still 6 points off the top 2 spots, having played 1 game more. It would keep them at least in contention for that top 2. They'd probably have to win all of their remaining games to have a chance at finishing in the top 2 and having that first round bye. But at a minimum, want to make sure they finish in that top 4. Those 3rd and 4th spots will host a first round playoff game. Austin Pack indicating he's all right. So just over a half an hour play, a drop ball gets us back underway. I'm Donnie Barnes, glad to have you along on this Sunday night. The only game in League One this evening, one of just 2 games in USL tonight. USL Championship, Rio Grande Valley and Birmingham goalless at the break. They also had a weather delay before the start of that game. We were delayed nearly 2 hours by lightning in the area that refused to clear out for quite a while. That's a good ball out to the left. Stabbed into the middle. Big chance off the bar. Rebound is in. And Lexington have the equalizing goal. Pierre Mane stabbed it home with the head. And with an hour gone, it's 1-1 at Toyota Stadium. Well, it had been a quiet start to the second half, but out of nothing, they construct an attack down the left side. All kinds of time and space to clip in that cross. It was Diouf who initially headed it off the underside of the bar, and credit Mane for following it up. He was perfectly placed. He was the quickest to react. You see Omar Sis tried to kick it, probably needed to go for it with his head. He was just a little slow to react, and Mane beat him to it and was able to bury it for his first goal of the season. And a big, big goal for Lexington that restores parity for them with still a half an hour to play.
Lexington SC goal scored by number 25, Pierre Mane. In the 59th minute, Pierre Mane.
That's given away now by Nico Brown, and Avion Flanagan trying to help Charlotte restore the lead immediately. Is left short. And now has to be tracked down by Omar Sis and Spielman. That's neatly done. You can see the confidence that Nick Spielman is playing with as a center back. Had the option to roll it back to his keeper, chose not to, and just calmly stepped right between 2 pressing attackers. And now a free kick for Charlotte. And those are valuable moments in the seconds immediately after you've conceded a goal and have lost a lead. The first thing you then have to do, of course, as coaches will often tell you, is make sure you don't immediately concede another one. And especially as a visiting team, with that home team and the crowd feeling the momentum, feeling that surge of adrenaline and energy, You just want to take the air out of those next couple minutes if you can. And moments like the one that Nick Spielman just had are really important for that purpose. Now Charlotte able to be back on the attack. Ibarra. Edge of the area, Oberton. Ibarra. And clipped it over a couple attackers' heads and out for a goal kick. Here are the live standings, places 6 through 9. Remember, the top 6 make the playoffs. Greenville with such a massive result last night, winning 1-0 at Knoxville to create a 4-point cushion with a game in hand over 1 Knox. They have 5 points worth of lead over Tormento, who've also played 1 more game. So Greenville didn't clinch a playoff spot last night, but if they do make the postseason, last night will have gone a long way toward making that so. Greenville just a point behind Madison for 5th. Madison picked up a much-needed win over Richmond on Friday as they swept the Henny Derby this year, winning all 3 matchups. Here goes Owen Green now. Lexington looking for their first lead of the night, but Green's footing betrayed him at the crucial moment. And Lexington able to start a counter charge. That was flashed over the shoulder of Corey Bennett, though. This is a track meet now. Charlie Machel. Balagoon. Lots of space for Owen Green. Green's low cross. Cleared, but only as far as Diouf. Arceja Gonzalez. Lexington continue to possess and to press. They've had over 70% possession so far in the second half. Machel, Green. Charlotte tracked the overlapping run from Machel really well. Lexington keep it patiently. Gonzalez. Balagoon, but it didn't quite fall to him, and out came Austin Pack. So Lexington, after they were pressing for the first half an hour for the opening goal in the first half, then were hit by the Gabriel Oberton sucker punch. They are well on top again now. It's Diouf. It's Balagoon between 2 defenders. Balagoon stood up again by Hector Acosta. No real way out for Charlotte at the moment, though. And the home fans applauding the effort. We have the first substitution of the night, and Gabriel Oberton is the man who makes way for Charlotte. Certainly made an impact tonight with that 33rd minute goal. Again, we weren't sure if he'd be able to play tonight, so not surprising that he makes way after 65 minutes. And it's a wonderful luxury that Charlotte have to be able to send on USL legend Dane Kelly in his place. Heck of a guy to have off your bench for the final 25 minutes plus stoppage. Dane Kelly with over 100 USL goals to his name. This season he has scored 7 along with 4 assists. That's neatly done by Tate Robertson. Really good work by him. Mane, whose goal in the 60th minute leveled this scoreline at 1 each. Machel. Fox. This is slickly done by Lexington. What can they construct now? This is Balagoon. Balagoon roaming into the box. His cross, touched home, it's an own goal. And Lexington are in front for the first time tonight. Joel Johnson puts it into his own net. Doesn't want help up. Lexington are up 2-1. What a wonderful flowing move from back to front, and Balagoon with that dangerous low cross in. And you feel for Joel Johnson because he's got to go for that ball. If he doesn't get there with his foot, Nico Brown was on that back post ready to touch it in. So that was headed into the net either way. And Johnson, the unfortunate name who will go onto the score sheet with the OG next to it. but didn't have any other choice. What a turnaround. 2 goals in 7 minutes. And from 1-0 down, Lexington 2-1 up. And so Charlotte, who were in such a good position just before the hour mark, they had started the second half very well. Even though they weren't possessing it very much, Lexington weren't posing a lot of danger until they scored. That flipped the game entirely, and Lexington then able to make their further pressure count again. Now, how does this game shift with Lexington playing with the lead for the first time? Charlotte have to get more aggressive in the attack, and they immediately win an attacking set piece as Corey Bennett was bundled over. Charlotte are about to make a change. Their second of the night. They're going to bring Fabrice Ngaha on. You'll see him getting set to check in. Avion Flanagan, we're told, is the man he'll replace. Looks like Luis Alvarez might be getting ready to come on as well. But first, this free kick. In from Ibarra. Good delivery, but a better defensive header away. Sis resets to Flanagan. Clear from Robertson. Taken down by Kelly. Kelly's left-footed effort, very ambitious. Falls out wide, back to Kelly. His redirection was blocked. Otherwise, who knows? Dane Kelly involved immediately. Balogun showing his strength. That stays in play. It's the yellow line that's the actual touch line. Can be confusing here. And this is a temporary home for Lexington. But it is one that they have very much made their home this year. At the moment, that strong home record looks set to continue. Now we'll have those changes for Charlotte with just over 20 minutes to play plus stoppage time. It's going to be Ngaha and Luis Alvarez to come on. So Ngaha replaces Flanagan. Luis Alvarez on for Omar Sis.
Checks in to the Charlotte lineup for Avion Flanagan. And number 14, Luis Alvarez, checks in for Omar Sis.
So Luis Alvarez, who scored his first goal for Charlotte last weekend. That was after a bizarre weather delay in that game. That went out of play off of Fabrice Ngaha.
Sporting Club substitution. Number 11, So Kim.
Lexington have also made a change, or will make a change now. So Kim, very popular figure, coming on for Khalid Balogun, who set up that go-ahead goal, forcing the own goal out of Joel Johnson with that beautiful cross. So Kim has scored once this year. Duke and UC Santa Barbara player, has also played for Oakland Roots. Now here goes Dane Kelly. Dane Kelly's in. Dane Kelly scores. And Charlotte Independence have leveled things at 2. And the USL legend on the score sheet off the bench. And it's back in the balance with just over 20 minutes to go.
Scored by number 9, Dane Kelly, in the 72nd minute.
8th of the year for Dane Kelly. And it came from a spot where Kalen Fox trying to back pass to him all night. Bad mistake. Bad guy to give it to, and Dane Kelly didn't need a second invitation. Beating him all night easily. And so just when Lexington looked like they were well on top, they're pegged back. And back and forth we go. Joel Johnson. Corey Bennett, good takedown. Bennett thought about hitting it, now does. Did that take a deflection? No, goal kick. It's turning into a wild second half. It was 1-0 Charlotte at the break. Then it was 2-1 Lexington, now 2-2. You wouldn't bet against more goals. Lexington about to make another change. They're going to bring Jalen James on in just a moment. Here's Ibarra. Ooh, he had Tresor Mbuyu down that right side. Couldn't slice it into his path. Game looking really stretched now. Both teams seem so dangerous every time they get on the ball. Great for a neutral. Stress-inducing, I'm sure, for both head coaches. One behind Kim, and then the Charlotte throw, and now that change for Lexington. There's Jalen James, talented young attacker.
Jalen James replaces number 77, Nico Brown.
Nico Brown, the man he replaces. Good shift for Nico Brown. He had a really good first half, and then in that second Lexington goal, it was he who was sliding in on the back post, forcing Joel Johnson to make that desperate lunge, and inducing Johnson to turn it into his own net. Jalen James, a native of Grand Prairie, Texas, mentioned a couple minutes ago, named a top 20 prospect in USL League Two last year when he was playing with Tormenta's League Two squad. Alumnus of Campbell University. Long, Dane Kelly trying to get on the end of it. Good defending, though, by Owen Green to make sure he didn't. Yeah, Tormenta's League Two side won the USL League Two title last year. Them all night. Lexington playing out of the back. Charlotte stepping up and pressing if they commit the foul. A draw doesn't do Lexington a ton of good. They really need to win to take or keep their flickering playoff hopes somewhat alive. Almost fell for So-So Kim. Taken out of the air by Fabrice Ngaha. Jalen James after this. Joel Johnson gets there first and plays it off James for a throw. A point for Charlotte wouldn't be bad, especially away from home. It would put another point between themselves and that playoff line. It would also, however, mean that there are only a few points separating them from forward Madison for that top 4 spot in home field in the first round. So they would certainly love to grab a late winner in all 3 points tonight if possible, but they would settle for 1 if offered. Oh, what a turn by Jalen James. He keeps possession brilliantly. Mane. Not his best. Turns it over. Corey Bennett. Mbuyu. Mbuyu trying to nutmeg Kalen Fox. It falls to Bennett. And there are options forward here for Charlotte. One of those options is Dane Kelly. He's already scored once, and he over-elaborated this time. Mane tracking back crucially to win the vital challenge. Everybody catches their breath for a moment. Scoring summary, Gabriel Oberton opened it in the 33rd minute. Dane Kelly then equalized for Charlotte in the 72nd after they'd fallen behind. Pierre Mane equalized for Lexington in the 60th, then the own goal in the 67th. This cross goes over everyone. Comes all the way across to Tate Robertson. Robertson so good at finding space to whip in across, but Joel Johnson sticking to his hip pocket here. Robertson again. Kalen Fox. Be desperate to atone for that mistake. Gave Dane Kelly the ball for that equalizer. So Kim showing quick feet, trying to skip past Nick Spielman. Spielman stood tall again. Machel. Green. Green looked like he was surfing that touchline as he refound the ball between his own feet while on the move. "12 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Jalen James, heavy touch. They do have the throw. So Lexington will certainly press for this winning goal. And that's why they sent the likes of Jalen James and So Kim onto the pitch. If they wanted to play for a draw, those aren't the changes they would have made. Here is Jalen James. Edge of the area, crowded off the ball. Just ran out of space. The possession back with Lexington. Diouf. Machel. It's So Kim. It's Kim straight at Austin Pack. Did well to get the effort away, but Austin Pack had the angle covered. Again, well constructed by Lexington. They do build so beautifully at times. You can see the roots of what could be a really, really good League One side going forward in sequences like that. They just haven't been able to put those together often enough or consistently enough this year. Especially, as we've spoken about a couple times already, away from home. That will be their big challenge next season, their big next step of improvement and evolution. Mane, heavy touch, maybe a tired touch, turned it over, but not a good ball in return. That was a real chance for Charlotte. They had bodies forward and Lexington were stretched, and now it's Lexington the other way. Back and forth we go, heading for the final 10 minutes. Robertson, James, Diouf. Diouf, good turn to keep possession. Green. Mane. And Robertson. Frankie Martinez, and it breaks down. Frustration from Martinez's teammates, all of whom wanted the ball, none of whom got it. If you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157. That's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app. Fabrice Ngaha leading Miguel Ibarra. Ibarra's cross stabbed clear by Owen Green. There goes So Kim. With Ibarra converging on him, Kim does well. Big tussle for the ball in that center circle. Advantage played, and Dane Kelly played in down the right. Kelly cuts onto his left. Dane Kelly parried aside by Amal Knight, who keeps Lexington level in these final 10 minutes. Big moment. You thought for certain Dane Kelly was going to put Charlotte back into the lead, but Amal Knight said no. Kelly able to switch onto that left foot. Amal Knight, strong hands, pushed it aside. A corner ensues, which will be taken by Ibarra. Ibarra in, the header up, and Knight claims. all night, using that southpaw throw, which you don't see too often. Tate Robertson so confident on the ball. Tim Stockley spoke this week about how they've had to build his confidence this year. So Kim. That ricochets off him. Owen Green almost was able to take it in stride, but tracking back to take it instead was Bashir Ndiaye. Machel kept that in for a moment. Looks like Pila Hlamini is getting ready to check in for Lexington at the bottom of your screen. Spielman and Ngaha. Spielman is making that run forward. He finds or found Tresor Mbuyu, and that was a tired lapse of concentration perhaps from Charlotte's leading scorer this year. He's now the joint leading scorer actually with Dane Kelly's goal 10 minutes ago. Tresor Mbuyu and Kelly now on 8 for the season. Johnson on the score sheet at the wrong end, though as we said at the time, not much else he could have done under that circumstance. What good possession this is by him, and almost connecting with Dane Kelly, who couldn't quite take it out of the air. Is there a winning goal to come in this game? There's a throw to come right now for Lexington. And they'll make that change. Pila Hlamini will come on, replacing Charlie Machel. Hlamini from South Africa played for the South African U20 national team several years ago.
Lexington FC substitution, number 22, Pila Hlamini. Checks in for number 8, Charlie Machel.
We'll have to see who Machel gave the armband to. Machel was the captain today for Lexington. Here they go back to the attack. Space for Tate Robertson. Jalen James couldn't quite get on the end of that. Still might by the end line. And I don't think that ball ever went fully out of play, but I guess it did. Austin Pack bringing it to a stop. Either way, Charlotte go back the other way. Luis Alvarez running at Kalen Fox. Does well. Miguel Ibarra. He has the overlapping run from Joel Johnson. Johnson stands up the cross. The header down. It stays in play for Mbuyu. Tresor Mbuyu. Came off of Owen Green. It stays in play and is recycled to Alvarez. Acosta and Ndiaye. And Nick Spielman. Again, a point, not the end of the world for Charlotte. It would not officially, but just about end Lexington's playoff hopes if they don't take all 3 points tonight. It would still be a very uphill task even if they did, but certainly leave it more within the realm of possibility. Oh, that hits the referee, and you hear the frustration from the home fans because they had something going there. Forces play to be stopped for the drop ball. Now, of course, Charlotte have been able to get back into position. Owen Green. Intercepted, and Charlotte always dangerous on these counterattacks, and Ibarra and could not connect with Ngaha. Gaha tenaciously after Mane, but Mane shrugs him off. That's a very good ball. Curled out deliciously to that left side where Tate Robertson has lots of space to roam forward again. And Jalen James. Flamini wanted it in the center. Now Flamini gets it. His layoff a bit heavy for Owen Green, who has to retreat for it. Jalen James. So Kim has joined him. James off of Alvarez, and a Lexington throw. Just over 2 minutes plus stoppage time left. Charlotte are making a double change now. Miguel Ibarra comes off. Brad Dunwell comes on in his place.
Number 5.
And Shalom Duty will come on for Tresor Mbuyu. That's very much a defensive change.
Checks in for number 11, Tresor Mbuyu.
Shalom Duty, a defender. Mbuyu, of course, very much an attacker. So the strategy is quite clear from Mike Jeffries, as it has been from Nacho Novo on the other side for Lexington. Lexington are going for the winner, and Charlotte very content now
Checks in for number 10,
to hold what they have. They have moved to shore up the defense while Lexington have worked to try to bolster their attack for these final minutes. And Owen Green moving those sideboards, get as long a run up as possible. And his trebuchet into the box over the head of Eric Ceja Gonzalez. It bounces across the end line. It will be a corner. So as we enter the final minute of the 90, a UK healthcare corner kick. And the fans responding here at Toyota Stadium as Robertson carefully places it. He gets ready to whip in a very important cross. Robertson's delivery, it was fumbled, it was loose, it's still in play. Austin Pack came for that, was not convincing. He gets away with it for now, and that ball is lost, and now the counter is very much on. This is a 2-on-1 for Charlotte. This is Luis Alvarez. He has Dane Kelly to his right. It's Alvarez, and Alvarez still rolls it back. It falls to Corey Bennett. Corey Bennett blocked crucially by Owen Green. They just took too long. And the 2-on-1 broke down, and eventually Bennett couldn't bring the shot through traffic. Alvarez just caught in way too many minds. Wasn't sure whether to pass or shoot. Eventually backheeled it along. But Lexington had been able to pile black and green shirts back by then to get themselves in the way. It is a late corner. We'll have 4 additional minutes added on at the end of this second half. This corner kick taken by Joel Johnson. Johnson in near post. Boy, they had 3 white shirts breaking for that ball. I think they might have gotten in each other's way a bit. That was a good opportunity again. Charlotte have had some excellent chances on the break late in this second half, and they just haven't executed the crucial pass on any of them. That delivery seemed like another chance. Still in the balance, with over 3 minutes remaining of stoppage time. Lexington back in search of a late winner. So Kim is trying to thread it through to Jalen James, has it back at his feet. Green has to turn backward for now. All the way back to him all night. Still time left in this night for Lexington. They lose it. Clip forward for Kelly again. Here goes Dane Kelly once more. Corey Bennett's wide open down the middle, and the cross for Bennett never reached him. As Owen Green tracked back. I don't think Kelly saw Bennett early enough, because for a while, Corey Bennett was all alone. Another chance goes begging for Charlotte. Will they be punished for it? Just over 2 minutes left. Lexington throwing everything forward, leaving themselves stretched and very vulnerable on the counter throughout these late minutes. As Austin Pack seeks to calm things down. We've had 2 minutes of the additional 4. Nick Spielman. Shalom Duty. Exchanges well with Spielman. Not a good ball forward. Mane. Now Owen Green. Can Lexington create one more opportunity tonight? So Kim with space. So Kim advancing. Jalen James the layoff. Flamini. That did not work the way he envisioned. Charlotte happy to take their time before this throw. Charlotte punt it forward as we head into the final minute of stoppage time. The run down the right this time is from Luis Alvarez. And Alvarez put it off the defender. It's a corner for Charlotte. They'll be able to take their time and then maybe deliver one more chance at snatching all 3 points on the road. Something they have only done 3 times this year. Alvarez conveniently takes this moment to retie both shoelaces. Now his delivery, headed away by Robertson, recycled by Dunwell, all the way back from Ngaha. Austin Pack thunders it forward one more time. Last chance for Lexington to grab a win tonight, but that's it. There's the final whistle from Joe Sergin. It's a result that suits Charlotte much more than Lexington as they split the points tonight. It puts the Independents another point above the playoff line, while it shrinks Lexington's playoff odds even further. It ends 2 goals apiece at Toyota Stadium this evening.
Against Chattanooga. First touchdown is
a great game. It ebbed and flowed.
Lexington
Lexington were on top for the first half hour. They couldn't make it count. Charlotte hit them in the 33rd minute with that brilliant goal with the left foot by Gabriel Oberton. They led at the break. Lexington turned it around with 2 goals in 7 minutes to lead 2-1, but then gifted Charlotte that equalizer just past the 70-minute mark. Both sides had chances to win it late. Neither side wins it in the end. And so the points are shared in Georgetown tonight. We'll come back and wrap things up from Toyota Stadium in just a moment. Lexington 2, Charlotte Independents 2.
Commonwealth Credit Union is growing and hiring. If you have a passion to help others, come check us out. Our mission is to better lives in the communities we serve through financial products and services, leading-edge technology, and a commitment to treat every person with respect. If you'd like to join our team, visit our website to learn more about our extraordinary culture, pay, benefits, and the many more reasons we are voted the best place to work in Kentucky. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Lexington is the Kentuckiest place in the world. Just look at it. It's by far the bluegrassiest, the bourbonist. See? The artsiest, and hands down, the horsiest. Oh, look, that one has a baby. I don't know why you would look anywhere else. Looking for the coolest, most Kentuckiest getaway? Look at Lexington.
Saving up for your goals should be effortless. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union invented Roundup. Roundup automatically puts money into your savings account by rounding up every purchase to the nearest dollar. So your morning brew? Savings. Dinner with friends? How about a side of savings? Mobile purchase? Mobile savings. In fact, last year our members saved $5.5 million just through Roundup. We'll even match your savings for the first 90 days. It's time to make your savings effortless with Roundup. Only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
2 goals each in Lexington, Georgetown to be precise, just outside the Lexington area, but Gabriel Oberton posing for pictures with fans. He may be an opposing player tonight, but they know class when they see it, and he showed his class with that first half goal, which we will see momentarily as we recap our highlights here this evening. After a great night of soccer, Lexington and Charlotte, and in the 33rd minute, that moment from Gabriel Oberton. It came after Omar Sis was able to win the ball back. Sis just sliding this harmless looking ball to Oberton, picks it up, you think not much is on, well think again. You can't give him any kind of space to unleash with that left as he curled it beautifully into that corner, leaving him all night with no chance whatsoever. And that gave Charlotte the lead at the break. But in the 60th minute, Lexington hauled themselves level. They hadn't been much of a threat in the first 15 minutes of the second half, but they were able to build this attack down the left side. Tate Robertson standing it up. The initial header off the post by Atez Diouf. The rebound bundled home by Pierre Mané for his first goal of the season. See it again, Diouf off the underside of the bar. Mané able to react the quickest to that loose ball. You see the delight on his face. And then 7 minutes later, Lexington were in the lead. As this time they attacked down the right side, and Khalid Balogun, who was a menace all night, it was a great low cross. Joel Johnson had to go for it. Otherwise, he had Nico Brown sliding in on the back post to tap it in anyhow, but it went off Johnson for the own goal. And it was 2-1 Lexington. And they were in such a good position then, but it was their turn to give it away just 5 minutes later. From a seemingly nothing situation, Kalen Fox just got his feet all messed up and scuffed it, gave it to Dane Kelly. Dane Kelly scored over 100 USL goals and knew exactly what to do with that as he raced onto it, and him all night stranded. And into the back of the net it went for 2-2, and that would be it on the evening. Both teams had chances. Both teams had 13 shots tonight, 4 on target for Lexington, 5 for the Independents, 58% possession for the home side. Just the 2 yellow cards in the game. Very cleanly played game. Both yellow cards shown to Lexington. It was a wonderful game of soccer, and one in which the points had to be shared in the end. So Charlotte continue to solidify an apparent playoff spot. They'll look to defend that top 4 place. That save in the first half was crucial as well from Austin Pack from that penalty. Hope you enjoyed it. For our entire great production crew, I'm Donnie Barnes saying good night for now from Toyota Stadium in Georgetown, Kentucky, where it ended tonight, Lexington Sporting Club 2, Charlotte Independence 2.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.